Have you ever been handed a diagnosis that read like a laundry list of everything you supposedly can't do? Like it captured every deficit, but not a single part of your actual life? That's the DSM for many of us. And today, I want to share why it gets neurodivergent people so wrong and what it completely misses. Hi, I'm Lucinda Curran, and welcome to Different and Loving It. This is the space where we talk honestly about neurodivergence, beyond the textbooks and the tick boxes. If you've ever felt reduced to a label or dismissed because of clinical language, this video is for you. What the DSM actually says. So the DSM, the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual, is the book clinicians use to diagnose things like autism, ADHD, and other neurodivergences. It is considered the gold standard. But here's the problem. When you read it, the language is overwhelmingly deficit-based. For example, persistent deficits in social communication and interaction, restricted repetitive patterns of behaviour, deficits in executive functioning. Notice the pattern? Everything is framed as a lack, a problem, a shortcoming. But if you are actually living this experience, it feels very, very different. The lived experience contrast. Take restricted interests. The DSM describes this as a limitation, something that narrows your life. But for many of us, a passionate interest is a lifeline. It's joy, it's purpose, it's stability. It's the feeling of slipping into flow where hours pass like minutes, in the deep satisfaction of knowing something inside out, of mastering a field others barely skim. In my opinion, that's not a deficit, that's a strength. How about deficits in social communication? What does that really mean? Maybe it means we don't play along with small talk. Maybe we prefer depth, honesty, and clarity. And isn't that kind of refreshing? The emotional impact. But here's where it gets serious. When a young person reads their diagnostic report and sees nothing but deficits, what do they internalize? That they're broken, that they're less, that they're a problem to be managed. I still remember the sting of hearing those words myself. Yes, there was relief in knowing this explains why I'm different, but right alongside it came the weight of, oh, so this is everything I'm not good at. And it shapes how the world sees us, and slowly how we see ourselves. What the DSM misses entirely. Here's what you don't find in the DSM, but maybe should. The sensory joy of noticing things that others overlook. The sparkle of light on water. The comforting rhythm of tapping fingers. The humour that comes from seeing the world at a slant. The creativity of connecting ideas in ways that no one else imagines. The fierce loyalty, the empathy, the honesty. The DSM doesn't capture that because it wasn't written by us. It was written about us, not with us. Diagnosis still has value. Now, don't get me wrong. A diagnosis can open doors. It can bring validation, clarity, accommodations, and community. For many people, it's the first step to saying, I'm not lazy, I'm not broken, I'm neurodivergent. But here's the key. The DSM should be a starting point, not a whole story. It shouldn't be the box that defines us. Rewriting the narrative. So what would a better approach look like? One that still recognises challenges, but also celebrates strengths. One that reflects lived experience, sensory reality, and joy. One that says, yes, You might struggle with executive function, but you also bring persistence and creativity. Yes, you might avoid small talk, but you bring honesty and depth. That's the story we need to be telling. The DSM gets neurodivergent people wrong because it centres on deficits, not humanity. But lived experience tells the truth. We are whole, complex, creative, and deeply human. If you've ever felt boxed in by a diagnosis, I'd love to hear from you. Share your story in the comments. And if you want more conversations that rewrite the narrative, subscribe and join me here. Please remember, you are not broken. You are different and loving it.